Everyone has those days where everything that can go wrong does go wrong. Where pain and misery take the wheel, and they end up on the verge of rage quitting whatever they're doing. Apparently, this week was my turn for suffering. Dilo has been crippled on Main Branch for a while now, and though in large packs they can still be somewhat dangerous, I don't often run in large packs. Reliance on some level of having a working ability to counter their abysmal agility is a must. So when I heard that hallucinations were working again on Horde Test, well, of course I needed to take the opportunity to be my favorite night monster again. My first spawn didn't exactly go well. I had found a dead, fresh spawn raptor and started filling up my diets, only for a larger raptor to appear. Okay, grand. Attempt number 2 put me in Northeast. I would be lying if I said I didn't heavily dislike this area. Especially as a fresh spawn, finding food up there is extremely hit or miss. Gateway took pity on me though, and offered some kind of diet food nearby. I approached and spotted a fresh spawn raptor sitting by whatever it was. He looked big enough to flatten me. But I wanted food, and I was determined to get it. And then the True appeared. He wasn't much of a threat. Baby Trudon doesn't have venom. But now I was bleeding. And then a second raptor arrived as well. Man, this was getting more dangerous by the second. But the servers were going to reset very soon. I needed to get my food or I'd starve when I got back. While the raptors grouped up, I snatched a lung and dipped, hoping I could log out quickly enough to not lose the food that I'd gained. And I lost the food I'd gained. Thankfully, I managed to find one of the raptors had been torn apart by something, and though I didn't get diets, at least I wouldn't starve. After nibbling on a boar, I continued my search for a better diet. I made an attempt to startle a baby Trudon, and then he requested a swift respawn. Yeah, bud, I don't much like this area as a spawn either. With no real prospects for a snack, I turned in the direction of the northeastern lake. Herbivores do occasionally hang out there, so maybe if I was lucky I'd find something. I didn't get far, however, before I heard a fresh spawn Maya making a racket behind me. Well, what do you know? That's food! With my growth well underway, I began the trek out of the north and toward the southern side of the map. There would be much more food to be had elsewhere, and I was planning to meet up with Farmer anyway.
Ooh. See, this is my problem. I see a lone trike. I am a 58% Dilo. And my reaction is, ooh. That is going to be impossible as a 58% Dilo. I just think, ooh, I'm gonna touch it.
Where exactly are you?
By the mud pit. He is running. Oh, hi.
That one.
Yeah.
Oh, hi. I legit did not see you. There's another one.
Another Dilo here?
Oh, this is totally safe.
We also picked up another Dilo in the same area. Never hurts to have more numbers, especially when it comes to Dilo. Our ragtag little group continued onward, pushing toward south through West Rail. With it being a horde test focused around Triceratops, herbivore players are everywhere, and often in herds. Finding a single trike with only a young dibble? Now that's a treat.
Oh, the little one. Here's
Yeah.
the little one. Here's a little tiny one right here
Oh.
on me. Oh, this is the family that I found. He's on me.
Oh no, that's a diblet. It's a trike and a dibble.
Copy went in for the first attack. We would target the dibble. Fighting the trike was too much of a risk, especially when none of us were full grown. With the dibble envenomated, it was only a matter of time before we took it down. Although, in very typical Isle fashion, hallucinations once again refused to work on the beach. That's alright though. The trike, in his attempt to protect his charge, ended up hitting it instead. Now the dibble was really in trouble. While Copy provided a perfect distraction to lure the trike away, I rushed the dibble for a final attack. He dropped, to no one's surprise after having been hit by his protector. And the trike, after some level of consideration, decided not to corpse guard our kill. As he swam away, we began to eat, and watched in shock as he reached the shore and instantly mauled the baby trike that ran up to him. Oh.
What? Okay.
With morning approaching, we finally made it to south. All was fairly peaceful. Another Dilo was calling nearby, and we called out to them to attempt to fill the last group slot. But as we stood in the morning sun, a Maya came screaming down the hill. His intentions were clear. He wanted a fight. I met his challenge with a bite. Not ideal to fight him in the day, in the open, as fresh adult Dilos. But his speed and knockdown attacks were deadly even under the best circumstances. And we all know that fleeing tends to trigger the chase instinct in just about any Isle player you'll meet. Farmer was knocked down and out, followed swiftly by Copy. The other random took a kick and stomp combo and became the first to go down. This was not looking good. Soon after, I got knocked down as well and took a stomp, while Copy rushed in from behind to attempt to punish the Maya. None of us were in a good spot, but the Maya ran to the water to camp. We hadn't even done that much damage yet. Silly thing. Unfortunately, Copy rushed in and got knocked into the water, taking a stomp that finished him. With Farmer too injured to help, I needed to look for a good out. There was no way I was going to be able to solo this Maya, but I was afraid that if I started running for the woods, he'd flip from camping to hunting again. My saving grace came in the form of a Trudon. The tiny thing rushed in, providing a perfect distraction. We retreated. Better to live to fight another day, and maybe actually reach adulthood. As we healed, enjoying a little overlook of sorts, I spotted a young Serato. Ah, see, now that would do nicely. We were both getting hungry, and hadn't had many prospects, aside from a baby that we opted not to kill.
The heck did he kill? Oh no! Oh no, he's pretty small. Scared myself. Hey you! Come back here. I just hit full grown. Oh no, I vomited.
The fight was over quickly. He looked injured already, and I wasn't particularly worried, despite being made to vomit. For a nice bonus, I hit full grown. Perfect. Next time we logged in, we could finally attempt to hunt some decent-sized trikes. I logged in the next day to find that the server had rolled back. I was a baby again, injured from fighting the raptors and Trudon for an organ that offered diets I didn't get to keep because of restart. To say I was disappointed was an understatement. But we keep moving forward. I made my way to Highland Lake, nibbling on whatever I could to stay alive. As I wandered, I spotted a juvenile dibble. Not exactly my favorite target as a baby Dilo, but at this point I didn't exactly have much to lose anymore. I waited, not wanting him to water camp, and then attacked as he ran onward. Lucky for me, he appeared to be an alt attack spammer. This was good. I could work with it much easier than I can with the slider. And then, I don't know if he got frustrated with the fight and simply force-logged, or if he crashed. But he stopped moving. Not one to accept what might be a fake-out, I continued my careful attacks, until I was completely sure he was gone. Well, I needed food. Sorry, bud. Before long, I had grown enough that I had venom again. I wasn't much larger than a fresh adult, though, and while messing with oblivious trikes is amusing, I didn't intend to die. Instead, I turned my sights on the raptor I heard chatting nearby. He was instantly envenomated after the first bite, but that wouldn't end up mattering. In a nice, stabbing, screw you moment, my hallucinations decided not to work. At all. Fine. I'll have to do this the dangerous way, I guess. I was barely on the cusp of still being pinnable by an adult raptor. 1 pounce could easily be the end of me. Not that I stopped attempting to send my clones while I fought, just in case they actually decided to work as they're supposed to. Injured, bleeding, and feeling sad that Dilo appeared to be once again crippled by its own broken mechanic, forcing it into needing terrible agility for balance purposes, I gave up the hunt. I was hungry, sure, but I was injured and alone. I'd scavenge something safer. When day broke over the island, I was full health and back on the prowl. A young trike and a baby tenno wandered around nearby, and I wanted to try hunting the trike. Alone, I wasn't exactly confident. Trike didn't yet have sparring, but Dilo moves even more like a bus than Trike does, since Dilo doesn't even have a proper slide. It wasn't going to be easy to get around the trike if it knew anything about movement. And unfortunately for me, this one absolutely did. Their reaction timing to my ambush was impressive, skidding around and landing an alt attack. Having the tenno around didn't exactly make my job any easier either. I did the best I could under the circumstances, and when a raptor eventually showed up and attempted to befriend me, I ignored him. The fight became a strange dance of attempting to get the trike to alt attack, and still attempting to remain close enough to land a bite after. Eventually, when he couldn't hit me again, he started camping the water. All probably 2 tons of him. Another small trike arrived and joined the original one in the water. Followed soon after by a fresh spawn. Well, this fight just went from a slim chance of maybe to a fat none. I considered my options for a long moment as a pair of Troodons got involved. It wasn't long later that the tenno returned, and I decided it was time to back down. I was already worse for wear. I retreated to heal and hope for better luck next time. Next time came sooner than I expected. When I returned, full health and full grown, I spotted what appeared to be the same trike from before, grown a little bit more, but now alone. I found very quickly just how much stamina getting around a trike as a Dilo can take, though. I had to conserve that stamina and keep it at a point where I could regenerate it while trotting, but I also had to keep pressure on the target. When he realized he couldn't hit me, he took advantage of the terrain. Ah. Well, that wasn't exactly ideal for me. It was more ideal for the random Trudon that decided to pop into the hunt. He didn't last long, though. And you see, Trike heals ridiculously quickly. And based on the faded quality of the scarring on his back, I really hadn't done much to him at all. Eventually, Farmer, who was a baby nearby, got attacked by another Trudon, and I opted to disengage and go rescue him instead of chase the fleeing Trike up the hill. Once Farmer was almost fully grown, we went scavenging around Highland Lake. It had been fairly quiet aside from another Dilo that didn't talk to us, a solo Trudon that had been following us for a short time at a distance, and the sound of Trikes nearby. That was until the Tennos appeared. It was dark, and initially we rushed out of the way, not sure exactly what we were up against. But after a quick regroup, we spotted the pair of them already camping the mountainside. We took that as a challenge. The plan was simple. Make the Tennos tail slam each other if possible, then use the distraction to land bites. We got them both to purple, and as we chuckled, our hallucinations actually decided to work. Well, there's a pleasant surprise. As the sun rose, we were forced to take more risks in order to keep the Tennos envenomated. Farmer and I were both heavily injured, and our bleed was reaching dangerous levels. When the lighter of the two Tennos finally dropped out of the third venom stage, we knew we needed to finish this fight as soon as possible. He rushed Farmer, opening himself up to attack in the process. And while we didn't get him back to third stage, the darker Tenno dropped. It was a time for decisions. I friendly called at the remaining Tenno, attempting to signal that he could walk away. We would not attack him. He, however, either didn't trust us or wanted to kill us both for killing his friend. He stood stubbornly over the body. The smart thing for us to do would, of course, be to walk away. Let the Tenno get bored with his corpse guarding. Instead, we went back on the offensive. Farmer rushed in and took a kick to the face. Well, shoot. The Trudon that had been watching throughout the hunt apparently decided to attempt revenge himself. It, didn't go well. I tried once more to convince the Tenno to just walk away, but ultimately he attacked me again. Clearly, he was not going to let me near that corpse. Fine. I wasn't that hungry. This wasn't a desperate situation. I would go away to heal and return to eat later. The next time I logged in, healed up, and thankfully not rolled back this time. I was hungry and thirsty after healing up. That was alright though, I could smell corpses in the area. An unopened Triceratops. That would give me plenty of food and diets once I pulled out the organs. I pulled the stomach first, dropping it nearby. But when I went to grab the next organ, the stomach popped back into my mouth. Great. I couldn't drop it, I couldn't swallow it, I couldn't lay down to safe log. Amazing. The only option was to quick log. It would be fine. There was no one around, the server wasn't full, I'd be back in seconds.
Dondi, why?
Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please make sure to leave a like and comment your thoughts below. If you're new here, please consider subscribing for more content like this. Thanks, and I'll see you soon.